Hey stars, welcome back to my channel. In the last video, we started a brand new island. Here are some of the events that led up to our video today. We left off getting ready to drift off to sleep after an eventful first day. Today, we are going to speed through the first several days on Sugar Plum in hopes to grind for some Nook miles, meet some new friends, and hopefully upgrade resident services from a tent to a permanent building. When I first played Animal Crossing New Horizons, I was brand new to the Animal Crossing franchise. I'd never even heard of the games before, but into the first year of the pandemic, I found myself curious after seeing a few ads for it. The beginning of the game is really great because it basically holds your hand as you walk through an immersive tutorial. I think that restarting is nostalgic to a lot of players because it harbors the excitement of starting fresh with endless possibilities. But at the same time, I've had 7 other islands before this one, and I pretty much know what I'm doing at this point, even though I always have a hiccup at the same point of the game. Every single time. You'll see that a little bit later on. If you are new to Animal Crossing, I have a great collection of videos with tutorials that will go into more depth, so click on the card above for that playlist. This will be like the Cliff's Notes version of the tutorial, but I think you'll get the gist. Tom is giving us our very own cell phone, or Nook phone, to use on the island. It'll allow us access to important tools during the gameplay. But I have a really valid question. We can get phone calls from people on the island, but does it have long distance too? I mean, we get postcards from our poor mother, but you'll never catch my villager actually calling her, or getting inbound calls from her either. Also, who is this mom character? Do we have a father? What are our parents like, and where the heck do they live? These are the things that keep me awake at night. There is also an Island Life 101 app that contains advice for island living. I don't really need it, but I'll have Tom install it anyway. Why not? The Nook phone is where you can access your camera, track Nook miles, create and eventually download custom designs, access your map, passport, rescue service, and more. And of course, island living isn't free. Tom Nook is always happy to tack on a hefty bill. And on this island, we pay with bells, which is the island's currency. Now, when we visit the archipelago for Happy Home Paradise, a different currency is used. But we'll learn about that another day. Tom is explaining because we don't have any bells, our initial move-in fees will be paid with Nook miles. Nook miles are earned by completing certain tasks around your island, like chopping trees for wood, planting flowers, finding insects, fish, and fossils, and even getting stung by wasps. I mean, you pretty much earn miles for existing, so it'll be relatively easy to resolve our first payment. Now that the game will be synced to the flow of time in the real world, or whatever time I set my Switch to, we can get the ball rolling. We should have some initial miles already, but let's get some of the easier ones out of the way. This includes things like updating our passport photo, bulletin board, and creating a custom design. So let's do this. So now we have the first few miles under our belt. Now what? Let's head over to the Resident Services tent and get some instructions from Tom Nook and get acquainted with the tent's services. Here, we can access the recycle box, where unwanted items can be found and taken for free, the Nook Stop, where you can access Nook Shopping, the Automatic Bell Dispenser, or ABD, and Nook Miles Redemption. There's also a crafting table, and for now, we can purchase and sell goods by talking to Timmy. Because we are just getting started, Tom will be offering a couple of workshops that will help us along the way. The first one is all about DIY, or do-it-yourself, where we will learn how to craft tools and furniture recipes. This will definitely come into handy moving forward. Not only is it great to be able to make your own tools when needed, but it's also super awesome to be able to create furniture items with materials that can be gathered around the island, such as wood, stone, iron, weeds, and sometimes even gold. I just so happen to have the materials to craft the first recipe, so let's give it a go. The first item we will learn to craft is a fishing rod, which is perfect for catching fish and other aquatic creatures in rivers, ponds, and the ocean surrounding the island. These fishing rods are pretty flimsy though, along with the first set of tools you'll learn to craft, so you may want to have plenty on hand. You can eventually upgrade your tool recipes by redeeming your Nook Miles at the Nook Stop. I don't bother with that step though, because I rarely craft my tools. I just buy them from Timmy and Tommy. Tom just installed the DIY app on my Nook phone, so now I will have access to all of the recipes I learn. In the app, you can view what materials are needed to craft the item you'd like to create. You will learn all sorts of recipes, from tools to wallpaper to clothing and furniture items. We only have a couple of items that we can craft right now, but that'll change very soon. In the beginning, I usually craft 2 or 3 of each tool just because with frequent use, they will eventually break. And honestly, anything that will save me a trip to craft or buy more is worth it. Timmy is just explaining that right now he has a limited stock of items available for purchase, like basic tools, furniture, recipes, flower seeds, and saplings. The inventory will eventually expand with the construction of the first and second Nook's Cranny store upgrades. He also goes to explain that you can sell items to him as well in exchange for bells. It's all about give and take here. From my experience, items he will pay a pretty penny or bell for include crops, fish, insects, gold, and even hot items, which we will learn about once Nook's Cranny is built. Another option for raking in the dough is the stock market, where you can purchase turnips, speak with Timmy and Tommy to determine what they are selling for, and cash out when the highest price becomes available. This option won't be ready until Nook's Cranny is built either. All in due time. I'm good at getting ahead of myself. The ATM looking thing that I'm standing by is the Nook Stop that I had mentioned before, where you can do some shopping, redeem Nook miles for things like furniture, recipes, and fencing, and banking. The Nook Stop features an ABD, or automatic bell dispenser, where you can deposit and withdraw your bells and pay your moving fees. Let's head outside and start gathering materials. The more you do right off the bat, the better. I start by shaking all of the trees to gather tree branches, seasonal items like pine cones and acorns, or holiday ornaments, and sometimes bells or furniture items will fall from the trees. But be aware that you may knock a wasp's nest loose, and if you get stung twice in a row, you'll faint and find yourself back at your doorstep. But the first time you do, you'll get some Nook miles to help ease the pain. So after the first sting, be sure to take some medicine. You'll usually get your medicine recipe by talking to one of your villagers, or you can simply purchase a few bags by talking to Timmy or Tommy at Nook's Cranny, or, in this case, the resident services tent. Now, wasps aren't the only painful creatures on the island. You may find yourself squared up with a tarantula or scorpion. Just make sure that you don't act too quickly. Just slowly make your way over to it and then catch it with your net. You'll need to make several stops along the way. If you move too fast, you'll get a nasty bite. Tarantula bites and scorpion stings will instantaneously make you faint. They are both most active in the evening. I'm in the process of catching as many new fish and bugs as I can. You will initially need to present 5 creatures to Tom Nook. Any additional creatures caught can be saved for later, and duplicate creatures you find can be sold to Timmy. Or you can keep them as pets. I especially like keeping a goldfish in my house. After you present the first creature, Tom explains that he would like to send the creature off to a museum curator friend of his and encourages you to bring him any additional creatures you find. He will give you a reward for every creature you bring back to him. The first reward is the Critterpedia app that shows you which creatures you've caught and donated, as well as the time of year and day they can be found. After the 5th creature is presented, he will receive a call from his curator friend named Blathers, who will bring up his interest in moving to the island to help identify and preserve local creatures in a museum. Tom will present you with the important task of setting up a plot for Blathers' tent, which will later become the museum. Because I plan to terraform, I will set up the plot on the beach along with all of the other buildings and houses. They can be moved later on for a fee. Let's head to the beach to pick a spot. The museum is a pretty large building, so we'll need plenty of space. Okay, this looks perfect. I really should do something about that eye. I also like visiting my new neighbors' tents. Aw, look how cute Poncho looks in his PJs. It seems he is very grateful for the spot I picked out for his tent. I love that the villagers will just randomly and kindly give you gifts. And it's nice to return the favor once in a while. The higher your friendship level is with a villager, the better the chance is to get a framed photo of them to put in your home as a keepsake. Sadly, I won't be getting one from Poncho or Plucky, as they will not be staying on the island permanently. I am so ready to meet our permanent villagers, though. I do realize that getting them right off the bat may be pretty difficult. After the permanent resident services building is completed, I will be visiting some treasure islands to get Nook Miles tickets and do some good old-fashioned villager hunts with all of you. But because I'm just starting out, I'd like to do it the classic way. It does get old pretty quickly, though. You'll notice that any furniture items I get will end up placed next to my tent. The more furniture you place outside, the better. After resident services is upgraded, we meet Isabel and our island reaches a 3-star island rating. I will clean it all up. I hope that happens sooner rather than later though, because I hate clutter. And I'm sure you could tell just by the way I organize my pocket storage. Another way to prep the island for the future is by planting flowers and tree saplings. It's just another way to give your island rating a boost. Let's report back to Tom about finding a place for Blather's tent. We've also managed to accumulate enough Nook Miles to pay off our loan. It feels good to get it done quickly. Tom also explains that although camping in a tent is fun, you may now upgrade your tent to a small house. This time you cannot pay it off with Nook Miles, so it's time to start raking in the bells by selling extra furniture, fish, bugs, and other items you don't need. Tom also brings up the fact that Nook Miles redemption is now available at the Nook Stop. And along with home ownership and a big girl house bill is Nook Miles Plus, which gives you even more ways to earn Nook Miles. So let's dive in head first. The first couple of upgrades only come with minimal customization options. This time around, we can only upgrade the color roof. So I'll choose purple. Just perfect for a Sugar Plum. He's added the Nook Miles Plus feature, and we are all set. That was a long first day. Our house will be completed by morning, and Blathers will be here too. Warning, incoming capture card problem. So I'm going to make this day really short. For some reason, on this particular day, my capture card gave me major problems. Major problems? I didn't realize it until right at the end of my gameplay when I played it back. I love technology, don't you? To keep it brief, I saw Gulliver, promised I'd find his communicator parts, but forgot, met Blathers, and got an earful about how he wants me to find some fossils and give him a bunch of bugs and fish. Also, he can open up a museum. I also got a recipe for a shovel and vaulting pole, which will come in handy for exploring beyond the rivers. Eventually, I donated 15 more creatures, and he agreed to open the museum, which is cool. Learned that we'd be opening the Nook's Cranny Shop, about the Happy Home Academy, and that I'm responsible for paying my big girl home loan. And also that we get to use our very first Nook Miles ticket by visiting the Sugar Plum Airport. That is exciting because now we can start working on inviting some new friends to the island. I hope we can at least get a few of our desired villagers on the first go-around, but it's unlikely because even though it's pretty easy to rack up Nook Miles in the beginning, you also run out of them pretty quickly if you're not careful. Other than enjoying our new home and Nook Miles ticket, we will need to start focusing on gathering materials for the Nook's Cranny Shop. But remember how I was so focused on gathering materials in the beginning? I was prepared and gathered all of the wood, so now the only thing that we need to finish it is iron. Luckily, we will get some help from Poncho and Plucky, and we can get the rest from rocks on the island as well as on Mystery Islands via Nook Miles tickets. Timmy will give us a small reward for each item we donate. Phew, we made it through the sludge. Now, let's go to our first Mystery Island. After a brief overview of the airport and cart stand, we can finally take flight. We've touched down on our very first Mystery Island where we will meet a potential new friend. So let's go see who it is. Stop it right now. It's Ruby. Now, if you're new here, you won't know this about me, but Ruby is actually my birthday twin, and we were both born on Christmas, so she's perfect for a winter island. Now, she won't be staying, but just for kicks, let's invite her to Sugar Plum. What a fun first villager. Do you think we'll be this lucky on the next villager hunt? By the way, when I got back to the island, Gulliver was there, so I decided to help him this time. After all, it's only 5 communicator parts, and you can find them by digging in the sand. Let's get another Nook Miles ticket and see if we can find another wintry villager. While we are on the Mystery Island, we will hit some rocks for more iron to donate. I almost have enough. Vesta? Nope. Well, at least we can get our iron. I always shake all of the trees to try and find falling furniture, and I also check the beaches to see if there are message bottles that contain crafting recipes. We finally have enough iron to donate. Timmy will request for us to help place the plot for the shop. So back to the beach we go. Now that we have a vaulting pole, we can access the western portion of the island, so we'll place it over there. The supply gathering isn't over with yet, though. After the Nook's Cranny shop is built, Tom will ask for help in populating the island and will request that we help gather materials and craft a bridge and furniture for the first 3 villager homes. In my opinion, it's the worst part of the tutorial and involves a lot of back and forth. I always forget what I need for each house, so my biggest tip is to just write it down. It'll save you the headache later. Let's go to another few mystery islands. Hopefully we'll get lucky, but not that villager. Aw, Cecilia, she's cute, but not what I need. And is that Derwin? Ugh. Hello? Anyone there? Oh gosh, it's so dark that I almost missed Punchy. Well, it appears our luck has run out. The next morning, I met Sahara and bought a few rugs and some wallpaper. Why did I just call her Sahara? I usually say Sahara. Found that they are hard at work building the museum. And later on, paid a visit to the brand new Nook's Cranny shop. The boys were busy networking with Mabel, one of the Able sisters. I cannot wait until the Able Sisters shop opens up so I can start using custom designs on the island. Because, let's face it, I am not good at creating my own. Timmy and Tommy will give a pretty drawn-out explanation of the shop and its features. But basically, what you need to know is that you can buy and sell items here. The back cabinet contains tools, recipes, tree saplings, wallpaper, and more. You can sell turnips, but not on Sundays or in the drop box. And be sure to check with them twice daily for their best buying price. You can also sell hot items here for a few extra bells and use the Dropbox feature to sell items when the shop is closed. Looks like Tom is a pretty busy guy. He's on the phone with a prospective new resident. Looks like we'll have our work cut out for us. This is the part I've been dreading the most. Building a bridge and stocking up the 3 plots to get them prepped for new residents. Once we get to that point, if you don't mind, I am going to fast forward because the memory of doing it is annoying. Before we get to that point, though, we can do a little bit of villager hunting. I've been saving up a few miles in hopes to find a few dreamies to move on to the island. First up is Chester, and that's a no. Aw, it's Tia. You know what? I have never had Tia before. Let's throw caution into the wind. I know she doesn't match the island, but she's really cute, so let's take her for now. Meanwhile, back on Sugar Plum, the museum has been established and we can continue to donate creatures, fossils, and even art. Speaking of creatures, I caught my first sea creature to donate. A sea star. I also met Leif, the sweetest green-thumbed sloth, and purchased some holly. I also took a crack at another villager hunt. It did not go well. Really? Again? Clay, why are you so obsessed with me? Who's that? Simon? Ugh, wrong vibe. How about Alphonse? No. Jeremiah? Really? This isn't going very well. On a positive note, we finally received a visit from Mabel. Now I just need to buy some of her crappy clothes and hope she comes back soon and asks to build her shop. Okay, when I say crappy clothes, I mean I never get cute clothes when she first visits. I mean, look at this selection. It's terrible. Maybe my ego is just sore from all of the bad villager hunts. I know what will remedy this. A trip to Tom Nook. We do have a lot to celebrate after all. I mean, we have a brand new museum and a new shop to explore. So, ceremonies are in order. Next on the agenda, bridge construction. Tom is sending me the recipe to build a bridge construction kit and place it over a river for residents to be able to freely cross. I'll place this one near Nook's Cranny for now, but it will most likely be demoed later on. This will do. Are you ready to see my big blunder? Well, stay tuned. Tom is asking me to prepare the 3 plots I was talking about earlier. It's a time-consuming task, so let's get a move on. I need to set up 3 plots and then craft interior and exterior items to place in and around the plots. I've placed all 3 plots and started putting the requested furniture items with the corresponding plot. I have 1 item left to place, so I thought, you know what? I never decided on a final villager. Let's go on 1 more villager hunt. I have enough Nook miles to take a chance. Something looks off. I honestly can't count how many times I've done this. Once you place the plots, that's it. No more villager hunting. Well, this is a recipe for disaster. Maybe it won't be that bad. Since the plot is technically sold, we can head back in just a moment and check and see who it is. Eek. I mean, on the plus side, at least we get some fencing out of the deal, right? Let's place some of the fencing. Who am I kidding? I'm just procrastinating. Well, I guess we can go check the plots. At least we know who 2 of the villagers are. And I guess we better dress for the occasion, right? Still procrastinating. Ah, it's Joey, the diaper duck. Not too bad. Ruby, of course. And Tia. You'll also notice some unfamiliar faces on the island this morning. Harvey, who owns a photography studio on a nearby island. Daisy May, our turnip sales girl. and Red, a sly, art-peddling fox. He's a shady fella, and I love it. Let's head to his boat offshore and see what he's selling today. I have my eye on some big statues, but be aware that Red is notorious for selling fake art. But rest assured, the first time you purchase from Red, the artwork is always genuine. I purchased the Valiant statue and donated it to Blathers. Red also sells a few other items that look suspiciously overpriced. I bought them anyway. That same day, Tom was holding a customization workshop. He provided a recipe for a wooden wardrobe as well as customization kits so that we would easily be able to change the paint color. Customization kits are great for adding a little bit of extra flair to furniture items. If you run out, you can purchase more in the cabinet at Nook's Cranny. To customize an item, be sure to have the kits in your pocket inventory and visit any workbench. But be aware that not all items can be customized with the kits. Once Harvey opens the collective of vendors on his island, you will be able to bring the items to Reese and Cyrus for more of your customization needs. Finally, some exciting news! Resident Services is relocating to its permanent building. And then there's this guy. This is Gulliver. Much like Gulliver, he is suffering from some serious technical difficulties. I'll return it this time, but I can assure you that the next time it happens, he will be all on his own. Okay, maybe not. He is super cute after all. After helping the pirate bird, I stopped over to the resident services tent to redeem another Nook Miles ticket and upgrade my custom designs app with the Pro Editor. It's available for just 800 miles, and it allows for a larger selection of customization options while creating custom designs. The moment has finally arrived. Resident Services is finally upgraded, and we can get the ball rolling on a number of projects. Plus, the adorable Isabel has joined us. In the next video, we will be working towards a 3-star island rating. That will involve creating a campsite, inviting more villagers, and inviting the Able sisters to open a shop on our island. Once they've opened their shop, we can start decorating by using the Custom Designs portal. I have already started code shopping and cannot wait to see how it all comes together. Thank you for joining me for this jam-packed, super long video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one.